Welcome, explorers, to Earthly Matters, the show where we delve into the wonders of our planet, celebrate the incredible animals we share it with, and uncover the ultimate breakthroughs in science that are making our world a better place. Stay tuned for stories that inspire, educate, and remind us why every little thing on Earth matters. I'm Scout, your resident nature nerd, and today on Earthly Matters, we'll be investigating the power of pollinators. Did you know that not only bees and butterflies pollinate, but also birds and bats, amongst other animals? What are pollinators? Pollinators are insects or other animals that take pollen, the male sex cell of the flower, to the ovule, the female reproductive organ of the same or different flower. We all know bees are amazing pollinators, but flies, beetles, butterflies and moths are all insect pollinators too. It's not just insects though that carry out this important job. Bats pollinate over 500 plant species. The Noronha skink of Brazil drinks nectar and gets pollen deposited on its scales to then transfer to other plants. The black and white ruffed lemur of Madagascar gets its snout covered in pollen drinking from the traveller's palm, and under the ocean, tiny crustaceans help pollinate seagrasses. The pollinators get lunch from the nectar, and the plants get to reproduce. This is called a symbiotic relationship. It seems a bit weird that this mutually beneficial relationship would happen. This has occurred due to something called coevolution. This is a process by which two or more species evolve through influences from each other. Examples of this are different species of orchids have hairs on the flowers to help orientate the bees, make sure they enter the flower in the right way. Or flowers with landing strips, like planes, so bees can land properly. Join me after the break, where we'll talk about what's going wrong with them and how you can help. So now we're going to talk about why they're so important. Bees pollinate about 75% of flowering plants, including food crops on Earth, meaning if we lose the bees, we lose a large majority of our crop food, resulting in lower profits for farmers, impacting the economy. Losing pollinators would cause a decline in biodiversity. Biodiversity is the variety of life and the way that they interact with each other. We would also lose flowering plant species, meaning herbivores would have less to eat, affecting their numbers, which would in turn affect carnivores as they'd have less herbivores to eat. A decline in plants would also affect microorganisms in the soil that rely on plants for their symbiotic relationship. Due to habitat loss and pesticide use, many pollinators are in declining numbers. Join me after the break where I talk about what you can do to help. Before the break, we were talking about why pollinators are important. Now I'm going to teach you how you can help. A really easy way to help native pollinators is if you have a garden to leave a section of it long. And if you're feeling extra, you can throw down some native wildflowers to give them a place to feed. Along the same lines, avoiding monocultures is another really easy way. A monoculture is a farming practice that involves growing one type of crop in an area, like wheat fields. Monocultures lower biodiversity, as they limit the type of pollinators that can feed on the crop, as well as isolating groups of pollinators from each other and new food sources. I carry around a Bee Revive kit, which is a tiny glass vial filled with 50-50 water sugar. You can buy them on keychains as well. All you have to do is scoop up a sad-looking bee and feed it from the little vial, and then it'll fly off all happy and you've saved a little bee. Building bee hotels is something everyone can do. Even if you don't have a garden, you can donate them to local schools or parks. They're super cheap to make and really fun. They can also be something fun kids can do. Providing water sources in the form of shallow dishes full of pebbles and water so pollinators can drink from them and not drown. Reducing the use of pesticides. because there are so many other ways to prevent insects from eating your plants that we don't need to use chemicals. And lastly, education. Education is the first step to change. Educating yourself, educate your grandma, like I am right now. Hi, Nana. Knowing what's going on and doing one thing to help can make a massive difference. I really hope you enjoyed the first episode of Earthly Matters. Next week, we'll be delving into the topic of rewilding. This is reintroducing important organisms back into ecosystems to help stabilise them. If you have any fun facts or song suggestions, message me on Instagram at scoutsbeasts or send me an email at scoutsbeasts@gmail.com. I'd really love to hear your feedback, and if you've got any topics you'd like to hear, send them over. Until next week, everyone, stay curious and keep exploring.